This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. We are live and worldwide right here in the Panhandle. If you want to be a part of the show, you can be. All you got to do is call in, text in on the Red 17's phone line, 850-215-6290. Like I said, we are excited. We've got loads and loads to talk about today. As always, on a Monday, we got Coach Brian Haddad in the building. Brian, how you doing?
I'm good. I had a few heart attacks during the Iron Bowl, but I'm okay.
All right, glad to see you back. And Jeffrey's in the house wearing his Rocket City Crash Pandas. How you doing, Jeffro?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't think you realize something.
Go ahead.
Guess who went 10-0 in college pick'em this week?
I don't know.
You did.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my God.
What? Undefeated.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
did you even know that?
I kind of thought that, but I wasn't going to say it. I was waiting on you. You did it. And we did not have this talk before the show, so this was live and right here. Sir, that is right. Wow, 10-0 on the weekend.
NFL, not so much.
No, but it was pretty good. Pretty good weekend for me as far as that goes. And always on Monday, Jam and Jimmy in the building. How you doing, Jimmy?
Doing great on this Monday, man. Wonderful Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody had a great one out there as well.
Oh, yeah, we did. And, man, I'll tell you, as much as I enjoy my family, I know my wife's listening right now, and I love being with her and hanging with her and all that. But, man, I will be honest with you, and you guys can call me crazy, whatever. I literally missed the show from being off this weekend.
He's crazy.
Who is this?
I enjoy being here. I love it here. So, but anyway, I'm so glad that we're all back. We've got a lot to talk about. Before we get to all that, Brian, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you do anything fun? Did you eat a lot of food?
It was good. I contributed to the state of Mississippi a little bit there in Biloxi. Made sure that their tax base was there for their new coach.
Was it two different casinos or just one?
I just went to one this time. I actually did visit a second one, but it was. But no, it really wasn't bad. I had a good time, and it was good, and got to see my dad and my brother.
Oh, that's
Made a quick bounce through Mobile. We were all over in Biloxi. Made a quick bounce through Mobile and came back and was back at the hobby for Black Friday, which was crazy, which I'm sure we'll talk about more. But,
absolutely.
But it was great, and actually got to watch a fair amount of football. Got to watch all of the Iron Bowl, which was good. So, but like I said, the old ticker might need a little.
For sure.
That one got a little squirrely.
That game, crazy. Jeffrey? Good time Thanksgiving? Everything went good? You eat a lot of food?
Yeah. I went and did a buffet at a local restaurant. They should advertise here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm not going to say the name.
There you go. Don't say the name. You should have just talked to them while you were there.
I should have. But they were busy.
They were busy. Yeah, I'm sure
Thanksgiving Day? Heck yeah.
And it was a great It was a great one. Went out with the wife, had a great time doing some Black Friday shopping. You know, we talk about going out Black Friday shopping, and a lot of people are like, oh, I can't stand the crowds or none of that.
It's not like that anymore.
I don't mind the crowds because I know what my job is. You know how you say you know your role and shut your mouth? Well, I know my role when I go there. I'm the bouncer offer.
And the bag holder.
I'm the bag holder and the bouncer offer. And this is what happens every single time. My wife's like, hey, this is a great deal. Should we get this? And I'm like, no. And my answer is always no. So either way, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I throw some, well, you know, this whole buy one, get one half off is really not a good deal because they mark up the buy one and make the other half
40% off of something you don't need.
Right, exactly. So either way, it was fun.
I will say this. We are all of an age that we remember when Black Friday was like literally taking your life in your own hands. And so now it's just, I mean, I don't mind a crowd like that. At least it's not, you know, punching and kicking and, you know, trampling and all that stuff.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? We've got 25 televisions for $5. We only have 25, and when we cut it open, you got to grab it. I mean, what could possibly go wrong with that, right?
It's insane. And you know, I like that because we were going on a trend, about 10 years ago, where stores were starting to open on Thanksgiving night.
And
it's one of the few things I've ever come across in my life that actually kind of, you saw it go too far. And society said no and pulled it back. And I think it's a lot better now.
It's a lot easier.
Of course, online shopping makes that easier, too.
It's not as
Give me that Cyber Monday, man. I'm a Cyber Monday person because I don't want to deal with any of the Black Friday stuff. I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. to go buy a washing machine. I just want to get on my phone at some point on Monday and find something I don't really need, but I want to buy.
And it's got to be a good deal. And could you ever imagine a sports show right here with a bunch of men talking about shopping? I mean, we got to hand in our
to be
men
fair,
cards.
we're talking about fights and things like that as shopping.
Right.
We ain't talking about buying anything.
So I went shopping Friday.
Yeah.
During the daytime, and people were parking and having to walk to where they wanted to shop at.
Yeah.
And then the second time we went shopping was last night. Oh, my God, Ghost Town.
Yeah.
Nobody there.
Oh, yeah.
Same deals. What you going to do?
Yeah.
Sunday night. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. All right, so here we go. Lane Kiffin.
Wait. There's news about Lane Kiffin? I didn't hear anything.
So let me get all of this out real quick because I know for the whole time I've been talking about Lane Kiffin going to the Gators, and I was wrong. I've gotten the text messages. I've gotten the phone calls. All of that stuff is correct. I was 100% wrong. I didn't have sources. I didn't have anybody telling me on the backside that this was happening and all of that. But I did think in all of my brain capacity that Lane Kiffin was going to Florida. And some people are talking about he was, but it was bobbled by the AD and all that. That's fine. Leave that for another day. The fact of the matter is that Jeffrey, as much as I was wrong, so were you.
No, what?
You said he was going to Ole Miss, and guess what? He didn't stay. He's going to the beloved Tigers. Yeah. And so there's been so many times that we've talked about Kiffin that you've said, let's don't talk about Kiffin anymore. I'm tired of hearing Kiffin.
I even
said. But now, hold on, now, my friend, now, my brother, he is your beloved head coach.
Yeah.
And I want to know, as a loyal LSU Tiger, how does it feel that you've got the infamous, the most talked about, the almost highest paid coach in the country now at your beloved Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
I feel after this whole last 2 months, because we've been listening to it for 2 months from Florida Gator fans, and that's what really got old is the talk and the talk and the talk. And I was like, I just can't wait just for the action just to be over with, you know? But I feel like my team, my school, was at a beauty pageant.
Yeah.
And the comparisons are made, and people were tossing some gasoline on Baton Rouge, who wants to live there, blah, 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 making comparisons to Gainesville, and then making comparisons to the University of Florida and LSU. And I was hearing all this back and forth. And what I do, I kept my mouth shut. Because I knew in the end, the highest percentage y'all made me go up to that Lane Kiffin was going to Florida was 15%. That's how low I was on him going to Florida. But y'all had me convinced 15%. and I would not budge. And I did not want to talk about it anymore because all it was talk. And I knew that when it came down to it, I mean, it was familiarity at Ole Miss, right, Brian?
Yep.
And it was LSU potential. And that's all it really kind of came down to.
But you were 85% that he was staying. I mean, you were.
Oh, yeah.
That was the push and pull.
Yeah, I was pretty up there.
Yeah, you were pretty
75, 80%. I was way up there on him staying at Ole Miss. And I think it just came down to it. Somebody just convinced him, so somebody was the right talking person, and they got in front of him and said, hey, look, blah, 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 blah. We're going to give you this money for NIL and everything, and they sold him on it.
Well, don't be taken to the side of it. LSU was the best job available, period, as far as the opportunity.
Yeah.
The national championships, you got Les Miles, Nick Saban, Orgeron, all of these guys have went there and won a national title. And don't think for a moment that Lane Kiffin, that didn't play into all of it with Lane Kiffin. And then being able to stay there for these guys are none of those guys were big time longevity guys. Les Miles being a little longer than all the others.
Yeah.
But still, when you look at it, Lane Kiffin, all he's got to do is go produce a national title, and he'll be beloved by LSU forever.
Just one.
Just one. That's it. And so, Brian, when you look at it, you were big thinking that he was going to stay at Ole Miss, and obviously we got Steve Barnes coming on at 4:20. He's going to give us some backstory we've been talking about. But, I mean, does it surprise you that he went where the biggest opportunity is, knowing who he is?
No, and it's not so much about him as looking back. Now, I've now heard a couple of different interviews and different things, and there was this one thing from a guy from USC who said, if not now, when?
Right.
And that made a lot of sense, actually. And that was the thing I was talking about at one point where I was worried if he doesn't take a job now, will people come calling in the future?
Sure.
Because he's going to have turned down a lot of things. I did think he was going to stay because in my mind that made the most sense to me, and I do think he desperately wants to coach this team in the playoffs, not for his ego like all these bald-headed stooges who'll be on in 2 hours will tell you, but I really think that he feels like he built something with this group of kids and he wanted to do that. And I think Keith Carter's right for not allowing him to do that too. It's the whole system, and we could go an hour on that. But the other thing that was really interesting, if you go back and listen, Saban has done 2 interviews. He did one at game day, Oregon, USC, where he talks about the timing of everything and why this is a college football problem. It's brilliant. We need to listen to that if you haven't. The other thing, he gave great insight on Kiffin, and I think both he and Pete Carroll probably got in Kiffin's head with this and said, look, what you have done here at Ole Miss is outstanding, but you've had to do it through the portal, and that is a little more risky. True. The added element, they believe at LSU, he may be using flawed logic, whatever, but I think this goes to the mindset of why not go and why LSU instead of Florida is I think at LSU, the high school recruiting is so solid year in, year out.
It is.
Consistent.
And what Saban said, you can then augment that with the portal instead of it being your primary thing. That made the most sense to me looking back on why he chose LSU of anything.
And that was the biggest part for me. And how many times have I said it, especially you being here every day with me, lightning in the bottle with Trinidad Chambliss. If we're looking at Austin Simmons, I don't think we have the same team that they've put on the field. I think they have more than one loss. Maybe. And Austin Simmons is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shooting him. I'm just saying that's how good I think Trinidad Chambliss is. And so with that being said and hearing what these other brilliant minds are saying, I believe that's the case. And really, you can have your teams easier and you don't have to have that lightning in the bottle with the transfer portal on your most important piece of your puzzle being the offense and the quarterback.
I didn't memorize the schedule for Ole Miss, but off the top of my head, you saying there would be more losses, they're really the only one that pops into my head is Oklahoma.
Yes.
And that's really kind of it.
But, I mean, when you looked at the Kentucky game, it was tough. And then
LSU, maybe.
LSU game was a little tough. That Trinidad was able to come in and do things that I'm not sure if Simmons would have done.
We never know. We don't know if they blow the Georgia game. True. You know, if Simmons is in there. I don't know. It's the thing that was hard for me trying to get into his mindset is I didn't know what he wanted. You know, that's why Florida only made, and I'm not knocking on Florida with this, Florida only made sense to me now as a family thing. Mm-hmm. And that's important, don't get me wrong, and that's why I thought, okay, maybe they're in. I always thought he was staying. The only thing I pulled back on, and I didn't know where he was going, was last Monday when Carter kind of came out with his first statement. I'm like, that's the statement you make when you think your guy's leaving and you're preparing. Like, I don't know if he knew, but he started thinking it. And the timeline, when you're starting to hear things now, that's starting to match up. Kiffin was really looking at this about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
And it's only since then been keep my team focused and can I coach them in the playoffs? And that seems to be most of what the last at least week has been.
And if people think that Summerall was just sitting and just that he got a call on Saturday night, you know, because Kiffin said no, that's definitely not the case. Summerall knew what was going on. He knew what was taking place. Mm-hmm. He was a part of all that. And so I think you're right. I think 2 weeks ago, everybody's putting so much emphasis on this one meeting that happened on Saturday. It was a part of it. I think it was just the fact of getting the playoff.
I don't think the Kiffin thing specifically was the domino for all of them, because I do think it also matches up with the timing of everybody finishing their regular season. Mm-hmm. I think that had more to do with the thing. And then, you know, everybody was talking about goalish for Arkansas, and then all of a sudden Auburn came open, and Auburn is a better gig right now than Arkansas, so he goes there. Arkansas then tries to move quickly, get Silverfield, and take that or not, whatever. It was a very interesting day.
Yes. And it made for
a lot of moves.
Yeah, it made for the most. We're going to go to the Red 70s phone line. We've got Ed on the line. Ed, how you doing, my friend?
Not feeling very good, y'all. Not feeling very good. My wallet hurts a little bit after betting on this week's games.
Oh, man. I don't know if you heard Jeffrey or not, but Jeff had just told me on the air that I went 10-0 in college this past weekend.
Seriously?
Yeah, I did.
Wow. Well, congratulations, because I know I sure as hell didn't go 10-0.
Well, I didn't play any bets, so either way, and this. Let me go ahead and put this out there. Just because I did that for one week doesn't mean you need to follow my picking. Because just as good as I was in college, I was just as bad in the NFL.
All right, man. So I was gonna say the games are good, blah blah blah. The topics, I had a few topics, but I'll spit a couple. Did y'all watch the Michigan game where that dude headbutted the ref?
Yes, very crazy.
Not cool, dude. Not cool.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised they didn't eject him from the game. They should have. I would have, but should never touch a referee or an umpire.
Absolutely not. And there's no call for that in any sport, you know? Even if you don't agree with them, not cool.
No, absolutely not. And you know how cold it was? I bet you that hurt on the bridge of his nose.
It was an act of a miracle they didn't kick him out of the game. I don't know why they didn't. Do y'all know why they didn't remove him or what was going on? Does anyone really know the whole situation?
To me, it looked like he was trying to show the ref what one of the players on Ohio State did to him. But the thing is if you want to do that, you can't actually make the contact.
Yeah, the ref ain't wearing a helmet.
Yeah, but no, man, I was very entertained this week. I had a great time. Congratulations, and I'll say it like this. If I win gracefully, I'll lose gracefully. So congratulations to the Texas Longhorns for winning, you know. So it's just good sportsmanship across the board for that. This week was very entertaining. Didn't go 10-0, but had a great time watching it. I'm excited about next week with all the bowl games coming up.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the championships for the ACC, SEC, and how all that will play out.
You got it, man. I'll let y'all get back to work. All right, y'all?
All right, buddy. Thank you, Ed. We appreciate the call, man. Yes, sir. You know, but when we talk about this whole thing with Kiffin and how it all transpired, I think, to answer the question about what you were saying, I don't know what he was thinking outside of I know that he wants a national title. And I think he believes that they're one of the best teams in the country, but I'm not so sure if he believes that they could have won it. And I think that with the talent that he got with the portal, with the recruits, with his name, I think it's just a total 100%, not just a step up, but a 4 to 5 step up ability to have a team with as much talent as he's going to have the opportunity to have at LSU.
I think it's a minor step up, but that's the margin. Mm-hmm. That's the difference right now. I mean, it is, when you're talking about that last step to a national championship, it's a fine line difference, but it's a very distinct fine line difference. And I think it's a minor step up for opportunities to do certain things. I certainly think he could have won a national championship at Ole Miss. I think he needs to have more things go right than he would at perhaps an LSU. And just quickly, you know, a lot of people are going off about, well, everybody's so mad because of the way it went out. I don't think so. And I think Jeff may agree with me on this. I think there were people who could have rationalized him going to Florida because of the family. I'm talking about Ole Miss fans, because of the family element and what he's done there. Yeah. LSU is a massive rival for Ole Miss.
Yeah, for sure.
Massive.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. That would be like Alabama's biggest rival is Auburn. But there's a ton of hate for Tennessee. That would be that kind of level in an Ole Miss fan's mind. I understand why they kind of reacted the way they did yesterday.
And so with that, Jeff, when you look at how Orgeron coached, you saw a lot of the former players there. You saw all of the, all of the NFL guys on the sideline with their bling and with their chains and all of the things. But with Brian Kelly, you didn't really see that as much. And I think with Lane Kiffin, now you're going to see Burrow. Now you're going to see Daniels. Now you're going to see Jefferson. Now you're going to see Chase. You're going to see all these former players are going to be coming back. They're going to be loaded on the sidelines. And who do you think they're going to bring to the sidelines during the games and during the times whenever the recruits are going to see and meet all these guys. And so you're about to see a big change from what Brian Kelly was, and it's going to go back to that whole swagger of what Orgeron had, and if he comes back, that would be another story, but also like what Les Miles had there. And so I think Lane Kiffin fits. I think he fits because, yes, as much as he did for the SIP, he really, it times 10 to me coming back to the sideline at LSU.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Well, and don't forget Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq will be back.
I mean, Kiffin learned from Carroll. That was what Carroll did at USC.
Did that.
But I'll tell you this, though. The one thing, what's been the one knock on Lane Kiffin, not from fans, because that'd be Twitter stuff. What's been the one knock on him as a football coach through the years? Winning the big game.
Yeah.
Still hasn't really done that yet. He better at LSU.
Yeah, he has to at LSU. But we're going to go ahead and take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about those Ole Miss fans with Steve Barnes from theRebelWalk.com. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, a mixture of light sprinkles and clouds and a temperature of 69 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the east. Very light showers and a possibility of thunderstorms tonight and quite warm near 63. A chance of showers in the morning, but otherwise some clouds and 69 tomorrow. 58 and some sun Wednesday. This is your Monday's weather sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. The puck stops here. James Fife is part of the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live and worldwide right here in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. As always, at 4:20 on a Monday, we've got therebelwalk.com, Steve Barnes on the line. We've got to talk about Ole Miss. Steve, how you doing today, my friend?
Ready for this episode of my favorite soap opera, As the Grove Turns, is coming to an end, I believe.
I think so. So, Steve, you got Lane Kiffin out of there. Obviously, everybody in the world have seen the videos of the fans screaming at him as he's loading the jet, and as well as whether this picture is for real or if it's not, the clothes left outside on the rack. And now we've got another story talking about that we don't even know if really that was his dog that he left or if it was just a stage dog. So all of these stories, Steve, I'm sure you've gotten to the bottom of what's happening, my friend.
I have no news on Juice the dog. None. But a friend of mine said, this is like a divorce when your wife leaves you. It takes the dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, hey, I think Pete Golding has a dog. So, it's no big deal.
So did it surprise you that, because we've talked about it and coming into today, we've talked a lot about it. Did it surprise you the way that it went and how it was not a finite answer, and then finally it just came out, and then basically the chips fell where they were, and everybody feels some kind of way, whether you were invested in Ole Miss, whether you were a fan of LSU, or just a college football fan. Do you feel like that everything that happened and transpired, do you think that it was, I guess, maybe done the right way? I guess that would be the best way to, or do you think this was a fumble by all persons involved?
Well, I'm going to echo what I heard from a bunch of Ole Miss people the last 2 days. We don't mind that he left. We mind the way he left.
Yeah.
And, I live in a household of Tennessee fans. And they're like, yeah, see? Now you know how we felt. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it sort of makes sense. And by the way, next season LSU goes to Tennessee and goes to Ole Miss. Those will be fun crowds.
Oh, I'm sure.
People are going to throw some mustard bottles.
I was going to say, invest in mustard. Yeah.
They throw mustard at Knoxville because it's yellow, I guess, and close to orange. Not sure. I mean, what are we, in Knoxville, you're going to do? Throw mayonnaise?
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
I have no idea.
Was it is a slug burger? Is that what it is? They have up. Is that what y'all make up in northern Mississippi? Those deep fried burgers. What are they called?
Slaw burgers. It's kind of like a sloppy Joe without the mess.
Yeah.
So, Steve, let's talk about it. Pete Golding. I'll give you my take on Pete Golden. I wasn't a huge fan. I was really relieved when he left Alabama. I wasn't a fan of the way he ran the defense. I wasn't, just for me, it wasn't a good fit, whether he's a great, balls and strikes kind of coach or not, X's and O's, whatever you want to call them. But how does because you go high profile and then you hire from within, what's the feel around Ole Miss and the fans and the players, because that's the biggest part? How does the players feel with rallying behind Pete Golden?
Well, first, credit Keith Carter. That was the move to make, because this is, economics 101, supply and demand. And let's face it, demand for FBS coaches was a little bit bigger than supply. That's why when I said I thought the American Conference get rated for 4 coaches, they got rated for 4 coaches. I didn't expect it in the same day.
Yeah.
So, but now, who are you going to go get?
Exactly.
So, but what I like about it mostly is, first, the kids loved it. When they had the team meeting for that, and Kiffin was not invited, by the way, because I honestly think Carter and Chancellor Boyce thought that he was going to go in there and try to recruit people to leave with him. And I wouldn't put that past Kiffin. But the kids loved it. Somebody snuck in, I guess, a recording device, and you could hear the audio. And then today the athletic department put out the video of it, and the kids absolutely loved it. I'm afraid of one thing. When Hugh Freeze had to leave, they promoted Matt Luke, who's a player favorite, and that just did not turn out well.
Yeah.
That's my only concern. But with Golden, I think he's a little different than Luke. That he, I know my lane, no pun intended, but, on defense, I got to bring in an offensive coordinator. And also to Carter's credit, right now, pretty much the entire defensive staff is staying. And Kiffin, he says he didn't put an ultimatum out, but I've heard from a couple of people he had that if you're not on the plane with him going to Baton Rouge, you don't have a job. Well, Charlie Weiss went with him, the offensive coordinator. The strength and conditioning coach went with him. And the other thing is the GM went with him.
Yeah.
So, first, Carter was able to keep John Garrison, the offensive line coach. Joe Judge, the quarterback coach, he's probably going to call the plays in the playoff game. And I think the biggest one, he kept Kevin Smith, the running back coach.
Yep.
And that's going to keep Keewan Lacey from wanting to leave. Judge is going to keep Simmons from wanting to leave. Chambliss has petitioned for an extra year of eligibility, and based on Diego Pavia, I think he's going to get it. So having your quarterback coach there, I think it's going to keep him from leaving. That was absolutely huge. Another thing about Smith, by the way, I saw the video today of Kiffin down in Baton Rouge, and he was on some kind of balcony, like the Pope thing or something, and he's going back inside, and his son Knox was holding the door. He's a quarterback at Oxford High School. His main wide receiver, Kevin Smith Jr. I think if I'm Kevin Smith, I want my kid to play for Chris Cutcliffe. And it was really weird. Friday night, my high school over here, Tate, played in that FIT tournament now they have in high school football, which I guess is like the NIT in college basketball.
Yep.
Well, they played like 20 minutes from my house, and we have 2 sports radio stations in Pensacola. Neither one of them broadcast the game. So I went online to see if I could find it anywhere. I found Oxford High School against Tupelo online. First, credit to Tupelo. That stadium they have at Tupelo High School, wow, that thing's nicer than most Division II stadiums I've been in. That thing is just gorgeous. But I got to see Knox Kiffin play live for the first time in my life. Kid's got some game.
Yeah.
I never saw the final stats because the feed quit. But in the first half, he was only 4 for 9. Those 4 went for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they weren't like screen passes where the guy ran 50. They were all throws into the end zone.
Yep, they were dimes. Yep.
That kid's good. But I think Kevin Smith Jr. might have been instrumental in keeping Kevin Smith Sr. in Oxford. And plus, he left Oxford one time to go to Miami. He stayed for 1 year and said, this is stupid. Let me get back to Oxford. I think he didn't want to make the same mistake twice.
Steve, thinking about the Golding move, does it speak more to the era we're in with football now, in that normally what would happen if a coach leaves, you're thinking, all right, we're going to take our time, we're going to really go out and interview, and we're going to find the best person to lead us long term for the next 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. The way this has gone, and it was even the case a little bit, I liked your point about Matt Luke, because I thought that was a similar situation, although the way it played out was slightly different. But to me, I think Carter did the best he could have done, but I think his hand is forced by the scenario that we're in. If he doesn't keep Golding, then you're going to lose a ton of that roster. And a lot of what the players have said, Golding was the lead recruiter on a lot of those players. Yep. I mean, that made perfect sense. But it's almost like we're not sure he's going to be a great head coach 3 years from now, 5 years from now. But what we're trying to make sure doesn't happen is we don't collapse now. And so it's almost like you've had to shift your entire way of thinking to short-term vision for the program versus long-term vision.
Well, Golding was never going to leave. He had a 3-year contract with the university that was not tied to Kiffin, and it's guaranteed money, and he's the highest-paid coordinator in the SEC.
Right.
So he was never going to leave. I think right now his job is to fill what's missing right now. If he fills it well, I think he'll be successful because he's going to, he's going to continue to have his hand in the defense. But they kept Brian Brown, who's the assistant defensive coordinator. So I think that's going to be fine. But the two he really needs to fill, he needs an offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. His first call should be to Texas to call Neil Brown. Mm. He is the special assistant to Sark now. He's a Mike Leach, Hal Mummy disciple. He played for him at Kentucky. And he won at Troy. He was a Sun Belt Coach of the Year. He took them to bowl games. He went to Nebraska and beat them. Went to LSU and beat them. He's good. That would be the first call. Unfortunately, he's a Kentucky graduate. Yep. Now the Kentucky job's open.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm wondering if they're going to call him. And what's worse is Summerall, who I think is the biggest, cautionary tale in this entire weekend. He's at Florida, and he's put out the statement, we got to have explosive offense. Neil Brown hired him at Troy.
Yeah.
Do you think he would not call him and say, why don't you come to UF? But I say Summerall because I think his hand was forced, basically, because it's like Florida's like, tell me yes, tell me no, and he didn't know. Now, I think he waited as long as he could, and Kiffin just drew this out so far that he had to say, okay, I'll go. But he didn't know that night Kentucky was going to come open.
Yep.
And see, that's
and
where
I really think he wanted to go to Ole Miss or Kentucky more than he wanted to go to Florida.
I just think that the good point that you brought up about Neil Brown, I do think I've got some, people that I talk to from Kentucky and not subscribe, but definitely watch their stuff. And it's not going to be surprising if Neil Brown goes back to take that job because they're happy with what Stoops did. It's just they didn't like the last 2 years, which is what everybody said. But either way, I agree with you. I believe that as far as when it comes to Ole Miss, though, with Pete Golden, I think that was the way you were able to at least get an opportunity to win a playoff game, is to keep the familiar faces in the building. Because you're right, if somehow, some way Kiffin was able to get Golden or any of those other guys to go, and then now they're scrambling with all the openings, there's really not a big hire that you could bring in outside of getting one of these guys from the NFL or somebody that's lost their job or whatever. But it's going to be very interesting to see who Golden brings in and where he comes from, because you talk about Texas, really they're on the cusp of wondering if they're not going to make it in or not. They're pushing for it. I know a lot of people say no, but there's a lot of push for it, and they are a big name. But when you look at it, any of these teams that are not going to be playing in the playoff, or one of these guys that is really doing well, I could see going over to Ole Miss for just a year, or even next year.
Talking about the way he went out, the way he, Kiffin put out that statement that I wanted to stay, they wouldn't let me stay. Trying to play the victim, I guess.
Yes.
But the best way I've heard it described at all, I think it was one of my AP friends up around. Yeah, it was AP. And he said, I rewrote his statement, and it reads, well, I'm leaving my wife for someone that she hates. I wanted to stay through Christmas and New Year's, and my kids wanted me to, but she said no, so it's all her fault. And I thought, that's perfect. That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, I heard the interview with Marty, and he really tried to emphasize that he doesn't blame Carter for that, and he was like, but he did make it very obvious that he wanted to stay.
I think he felt the narrative was being put out there that it was all about him and he just bailed on his team, and you can still make that argument. I don't subscribe to it, but I think it was very important for him to make sure everybody understood he wanted to continue to coach this team and finish what they started. And, again, this gets back to the problem of the schedule, but that's another thing. But I thought that was, to me, and look, I've given Kiffin benefit of the doubt probably more than most people and probably more than I should. But to me, that's what I saw in that part of it.
A friend of mine from Boston got in touch with me. We were roommates in the Air Force together at Hurlburt Field. And he's like, I don't understand. Let the guy coach. What's the big deal?
No.
And I told him, all right, let's say the Red Sox are going to the playoffs and your manager says, I'm going to go to the Yankees at the end of the year, but I really want to manage this team. Would you let him? And he's like, oh, hell no. It's like, that's it.
It's one of those scenarios, Steve, where I think Kiffin was right to want to I think you would want your guy to want to coach him. Like that, the alternative would be he was like, I'm out of here and to heck with you, whatever, in the playoffs. I think it was good that he wanted to coach him, and I think Keith Carter was right not to let him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's the system that we're in that's a problem, and I wish they would address it. I don't know that it's going to be, but if it doesn't change, we're going to have more situations like this going forward. We've all been waiting for a player to sit out of a playoff game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's right around the corner.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Now, my big question today was, LSU was promised to pay him the Ole Miss incentives on how the Rebels do. What? I mean, your governor basically fired your AD, last AD, for doing these stupid deals. Now you're going to pay this guy even more and pay him for not coaching the old team? Oh, come on. That just, that makes no sense whatsoever. And LSU people, I would say, let the buyer beware. And the old analogy that if you're dating a married woman who's cheating on her husband and she says, I'm leaving him for you, don't be shocked when she leaves you for somebody else.
Yeah. With that being said, Steve, we appreciate you, and we will definitely touch base next week. We hope that you have a great rest of your week, and hopefully it all works out.
It should be restful now.
Yes, a little bit more restful. Steve,
all right, brother.
Thank you, my friend. Steve Barnes from the RebelWalk.com. We will return, and I've got something to say about this whole Lane Kiffin thing that we haven't discussed. Got to get it out. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Text in now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Only 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app for the sports fanatic is available at the Apple Store and Google Play. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Contractors, when your job site needs materials fast, trust the local team that delivers. Mid-South Lumber Company brings you reliable job site delivery, in-house credit, and competitive pricing on everything from lumber to doors, windows, and more. Plus, their unmatched customer service has your back through every step of the build, making ordering, delivering, and the whole process easier for you. Support local. Build with Mid-South Lumber Company. Mid-South Lumber in Panama City on 11th Street or on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
Ho, ho, ho. Keep the adventures going this holiday season in a new Kia from Billburn Kia during the Season of New Tradition sales event. Billburn Kia is now offering 0.9% APR for up to 60 months plus $750 bonus cash on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or a new 2025 Kia Telluride. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Countdown to savings is going on now, so drive away in a new Kia before the year ends and celebrate the season in style. Billburn Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. See us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillburnKiaPanamaCity.com.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or VIN-specific new 2025 Telluride with $1,705 per month per $1,000 financed at 60 months. Quality's limited. $750 APR bonus is applied as down payment and no cash value. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 12/1/25.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun. Get on your knees!
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290 for all the Florida Gator fans that are hurt, disappointed, and are downtrodden today. Your call does matter to us right here at the Sports Blitz. Also, you can call in if you want to talk to Jeffrey about how he has been quiet about these LSU Tiger brand new head
cautiously
football
optimistic. Is that a good phrase?
Big time cautiously optimistic. I'm going to tell you guys, when you look at all of the moving factors, when you look at everything that's across the board, I believe without a doubt in my mind, this is going to shock some people, but I don't know if it will or not. But I think that I think Knox Kiffin had zero to do with it. I think there's great teams all across this country that he could go play for, no matter what city, no matter where he's at. I never bought the whole Oxford High School thing that was brought up several times. Oh, he could never leave David Cutcliffe's, sons and all. Do you know who David Cutcliffe? I know who David Cutcliffe is, but I just never thought, Jeffrey, that it was a big deal about Knox. I just did not think that was a playing factor. I believe where Daddy goes is where Knox goes. Wherever Daddy's at, that's who's going to get the Knox Kiffin kid. Now, whether he, goes to this school or goes to that school, or maybe he goes to a school in New Orleans, or maybe he goes to Arch Manning School, or wherever he
ain't
goes.
Going to a school in New Orleans.
But I'm just saying, I don't think it had anything to do with it. What do you think about that? Do you think that part is something that built into it or not?
Absolutely. I mean, it's all in the equation. It's a part of your family. It's your son, and he's the one that's going to be playing football in the future.
But he's going to get his shot.
Monty, Lane, and now we're going to have Knox.
You're telling me, though, hold on, I'm going to push back a little bit with you.
Yeah.
You're telling me that Knox Kiffin, as good as he's looked, as many as they've put him on, given him stars, and he's starting to get more publicity, you don't think he could go anywhere as Lane Kiffin's son? He could go to Bay, Mosley, North Bayhaven, Arnold. It wouldn't matter where he went. he would still get his opportunity. Just because he goes to a team that competes for the state championship is not going to be whether or not he goes and plays at the next level at a huge major college. You know why? Because his last name's Kiffin, and he can drop dimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends who you got there.
I mean, he's going to have the best of the best.
But, I mean, if you look, if he'd have gone in 2 years ago to wherever in Texas DJ Lagway was from, he wouldn't taken his job.
Yeah.
So it depends. I agree with Jeff. I think it was part of the overall, the look, and you lay out the sheet, and you got your pros and you got your cons. I think the unfortunate thing, and I don't know if this was even considered, but there have been situations where you've had, like, not even related to football, where somebody gets a great job offer, moves cross country, whatever like that, and one of the children is entering their senior year of high school, and the family stays behind. Yeah. The unfortunate thing is whether or not, and Knox may not have wanted to, there was no chance that could work. I'm not sure he went to school today.
No, I doubt it.
Because it would just be so toxic. Mm-hmm. And I think that's unfortunate because it doesn't have anything to do with him. But
that would have been the big thing. If they would have beaten Tupelo. Think if Oxford would have beaten Tupelo.
Oh, sure.
And now they're going to play for the national or state championship.
Ironically, where that state championship game would have been played? Starkville.
At Starkville,
yes.
That
would have been interesting, too. But,
so that all could have played into a crazy thing.
No, I think so. And it's, like I said, it's unfortunate to me that if he really wanted to play his senior year there, that's not an option now. But I'm not sure it was. It's just, that's part of the nature of all of this stuff. He isn't the first person that's happened to. He won't be the last.
And just like Kirby's son plays sports. And if something were to happen with Kirby, and, it's usually the job that pays for everything usually takes precedent over it all. So that's just my opinion about that. I don't really think, I know that was something that everybody in Ole Miss and in Oxford was bringing up a lot. Oh, well, they love it there, and they love the school, and they could have. All of that could have been. I don't believe at any moment, especially when LSU was brought in, I don't believe that staying at Ole Miss with the Florida job opening, and then when you added the LSU job opening, I don't think the staying at Ole Miss, the percentages was ever higher at staying than it was going. That was my big take.
That's possible. Looking back at it now, I do think it was probably 50-50 for a very long time. Again, I do think that, I know I keep coming back to, I think that if not now, when mindset
happens, yes.
I think he thought, this is my opportunity. There's no guarantee 2-3 years from now I'm going to be sought after the way I am. There's no guarantee all these great jobs are going to come open. I need to take a shot. And I think if you heard his interview with Marty, he talked about that. He prayed on it, whatever, and he goes, I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's what Carolyn Saban told him, too.
Yeah. Well, you could tell.
This is your chance to take a shot.
You could tell by the way Saban was talking which way he was going on Saturday. When you listen to Game Day, they really, McAfee and some of the other guys, they really pressed Saban because it was mentioned during the press conference that he was going to call Saban. And so then they all kind of zoomed in on Saban. They kind of pushed and prodded him. And Saban began to talk about the ability to get players. And when he said that, that let me know where he was leaning. Because you know as well as I do, the team that can get the best players out of everybody that was there at the party was the LSU Tigers. The talent and the ability to not only win your own state, but be able to get into Texas, be able to get into Florida, be able to get into Georgia, and all of the surrounding areas, you know that that's what Saban was going to do. And if he was one of the guys in the room that was helping him go for this decision, you knew that that was what he was going to do.
Okay. I'm going to talk about two things. First thing is, how do you think Saban ended up in Baton Rouge?
By a plane.
No, let me tell you what happened. I was watching a game in person in Shreveport, Louisiana in 1995, I believe is the year. And Saban was the head coach at Michigan State. Mm-hmm. He had already been, a player and an assistant at Kent State and a head coach at Toledo before the Browns. Mm-hmm. And so he's at Michigan State, and he's doing pretty good things at Michigan State. I mean, they're in the Poulan Weed Eater Bowl and Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Mm-hmm. And the game is a little close in the first half and all that. LSU's got the lead going into half. And then the third quarter comes out, and he's coaching against Jerry DiNardo, who's not a bad coach. Mm-hmm. He's decent. But they just crushed him in the third quarter. I mean, just obliterated him. And Nick Saban at that point was looking across the field at the sideline and everything and said, not just the fans, but the players. And he said, man, I've got to go south to get this talent. I can't get this in East Lansing, Michigan. And he knew. He had no connection to Baton Rouge, didn't know what the heck Louisiana. He probably never ate crawfish in his life. And he went there for the talent.
Yep.
And that's what Lane Kiffin's there for. Yep. It's not the crawfish. It's not the king cake. Nope. It's rabid fans and athletes.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Saban was saying. Where can you get the best players?
Yeah.
And there's no question. If you had LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, I would say those 4 teams, if those jobs are open and they want you, that's where you go based off of being able to get the talent. Why? Because it's been proven that those guys can get the talent. Not that Florida can't. I think if Florida would have been the only horse in the stable, I think he would have rode the Florida horse. I do. Until LSU came, early on it could have been 50-50, but then I think Florida had the upper hand, and then I believe then when LSU came on, it totally tipped the scale, and it changed. Yeah. And that moment, that was when it changed for Kiffin, too.
I guess I don't ever think Florida was that high. I think it was considered, seriously.
Right.
I don't know that it was ever more than maybe 30%. That's just me. I don't know. I don't think any of us know. Everybody who says they know doesn't know.
Right.
But I in my mind, I don't think it was ever that. I think LSU was unique. And we talk about this, the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Alabamas who've won these national championships. If you look at them, the depth, the amount of players they have, give them more weapons, more opportunities. You can win it with Michigan with a great quarterback, a great running back, and a great receiver. But you can sure win it a lot easier with 2 great running backs, 3 great receivers, a great quarterback, and a pretty darn good backup. Mm-hmm. And that's why these schools, LSU in 19, Alabama in 20, Ohio State in 24, the depth of talent and the more weapons that you have to fire gives you a better chance at doing this. He could have won it at Ole Miss. He has a better chance at LSU.
Yeah, and it really says a lot when you look at how it all played out as far as waiting for LSU. It was like it was already considered when he saw it, and then it was like, how do I get there? And I believe the real meetings were going on whether or not he was going to be able to go to the playoff and play and be able to coach that team into the playoff. Do I think he did that because he wanted to prove himself? But I also believe on the flip side of it, and I know we're about against the break, but when you look at it, with what he's done and where he's gone, now if Ole Miss goes out and leaves the first week of the playoff, then they're going to say, it was Lane Kiffin that got us here, not us. You're listening to the Sports Blitz. We're going to come right back right after the break.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 studio line. Are you sick of the old sports talk? The vanilla opinions? The polite debates? The hosts who are afraid to say what they really think? So are we. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is bringing the house. It's the new Sports Blitz.
Weekdays, 4 to 6.
We're starting arguments, not conversations. The Sports Blitz.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, a mixture of light sprinkles and clouds and a temperature of 69 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the east. Very light showers and a possibility of thunderstorms tonight and quite warm near 63. A chance of showers in the morning, but otherwise some clouds and 69 tomorrow. 58 and some sun Wednesday. This is your Monday's weather sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
This Christmas, as you search for the perfect gifts, the team at That Boot Store wants to remind you of the greatest gift of all. The true joy of the season comes from celebrating the birth of Jesus and the gift of salvation he brought to us all. From the team at That Boot Store, may your heart be filled with the peace and hope of the season. That Boot Store wishes you a very Merry Christmas.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your NFL and college football headquarters is Dak Cajun Place. With 27 TVs, you won't miss a play or a game. Score 50-cent wings during live games every Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. 50-cent wings. And $5 pitchers during live games only at Dak Cajun Place. LSU and Saints fans, wear your team colors and get free Jell-O shots when LSU or the Saints score. Plus brunch on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2 with $3 mimosas. Game like a local at Dak Cajun Place.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Pound the like and crush the subscribe. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson is live on YouTube. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
On a Monday, and you're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad that you've decided to join us. We're excited. We're so pumped up. You want to be a part of the show? You can be. 850-215-6290. We're talking all things college football, and we've been talking about this coaching carousel. I don't believe that there's ever been a time where we have talked more about the coaches than we've talked about the games, ever. And with so many openings and so many things happening, we've talked about Lane Kiffin for the past 2 months without stopping about his job. Yes, he's done a good job at Ole Miss. Yes, he's beaten some good teams. Yes, what is he going to do? But now we finally know, for you that have just started listening after work, we've got Brian Haddad in the building, Jeffrey's in the building, Jimmy's doing the ones and the twos. When we look at all of this, I want to say I don't know how long this is going to happen and how long he's going to be there. But I will say this. If the one thing that has driven Lane Kiffin as being a head football coach in the college ranks to win a national title, if that's been his deal, this is his shot. This is his only shot, and he's got just a little bit of time to, what I believe, to do this. I don't believe this is going to be Mr. 7 to 20 years. I don't think we're going to see a long-term Kiffin that, retires from there. This is going to be it for Lane Kiffin. Does he win a national title? If he wins a national title, when are we going to start talking about him going to the NFL? Brian, you're side about it, but I think that's the key.
There was a time when I thought the NFL made sense, and I made the joke about the Giants. I don't think he wants back in the NFL. I really don't.
Right now.
No, I don't. I don't think ever.
There's a chance.
I really don't. I think college is more to his liking. I do think the national championship drives him, as it does pretty much everybody. I think where I gave him maybe a little more thought was, I thought, based on comments he's made coming out of the USC issue, I thought control and trust was a bigger factor. That's why I leaned more Ole Miss, because he had built something he had a lot of control over. That's the other thing. You say we're not going to do 7 or whatever like that. to me, it didn't seem like as long as he was at Ole Miss. He was at Ole Miss 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
That didn't seem like he was there 6 years. I wouldn't be shocked if he did 6+ at LSU. Now, you're going to have to win in that time to do that.
Yeah, you got to win. You got to win.
But, I mean, I have no reason to believe he won't win. The biggest question now is, and it's a slightly unfair comparison to make, or maybe it isn't, is he going to be James Franklin? Or is he going to get that big win? Because that's the one thing he hasn't gotten yet. He's shown he can build a contender, but he's yet to play for an SEC championship. He's yet to play for a national championship as a head coach. Other than, I mean, he did it as a coordinator at Alabama. So, and look, before I forget about this, I love Nick Saban. I thought he's had a lot of stuff right. The only thing I didn't like that Nick Saban did was this past weekend where he was lobbying so hard that Ole Miss should allow him to coach in the game. Who denied Lane Kiffin the ability to coach in the national championship game when he had taken another job?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think he did it because he didn't like the way it went a couple years earlier with Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And so fine, but don't come around and say they should allow him when you yourself didn't allow the same person for the reasons of he's focused on another job now, let him go do that. So that was the only thing. Everybody thinks that I kiss Saban's butt all the time. I didn't like that.
Yeah. Jeffrey, you're the resident LSU fan. You're the one. Do you believe what I said when I started the show as far as, do you believe this is going to be a longevity hire, or do you believe this is going to be the 6, maybe the 7 years that he signed for? And do you believe that if he doesn't win a national title in those years, could we be looking at an Ogeron situation where they tell him, here's the door, you've done well for us, thank you?
Okay. I don't even have to think about this because I could read you texts from all my buddies.
Yeah, read them. Tell us.
Okay.
Don't read them, but just tell us. Just tell us.
No, there's no curse words or anything.
Oh, come on.
No, especially one that's in Springfield, Missouri. Mm-hmm. And he says, all I need is 4 years. Give me 5 years. 4 or 5 years, all I care.
Sure.
Just give me one national title. That's all I care for. Just bring it.
But
and we'll love you.
That's LSU's MO, though.
Yeah.
Les Miles brought him a national title. Nick Saban brought him a national title. Coach O brought him a national title. Yeah. And they don't have them very long. That's what I was really talking about. It's mainly LSU more than it is Lane Kiffin. Now, the fact is that if Lane Kiffin was to sustain like what Kirby's done, where year in, year out, they're in contention for a national title. Yeah, I could see him going the longevity. But to Brian's point, he hasn't proven that he can do that yet. Obviously, he hasn't had the talent yet, so to speak, but he hasn't been able to prove that he can win year in, year out. Don't forget, this is the same Lane Kiffin that lost last year to Kentucky. Don't forget that, because that same Kentucky team basically knocked them out of the playoffs at the end of the year. Now, they didn't have Trinidad Chambliss, but they still had Lane Kiffin.
But they went 9-3. And see, that's okay at LSU as long as you've won a title.
Yeah. Right.
But 6-6 after a national title, that's what Coach O had. You got to go.
Yeah.
And that's the pressure, too, as well, that he's going to have to embark on, is that the expectations are going to be just as high as they were at Alabama, at Georgia, at all of the big – I mean, LSU is a top 5 program, period. I don't care what you say. To me, because of the expectation of the fans, the expectation of society, we all think LSU is great. We don't like them, but we do think it's great.
So if I told you the last 4 schools that have won national titles, right? Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, and Georgia. Mm-hmm. Are they in the top 5?
Yes.
All 4 of them, even Michigan.
Michigan is kind of a now top 5. It's kind of teeter-tottering down now because of the coaching and what they've had. But if you would say to me in the last 10 years, I mean, they're close if they're not. But LSU's in there to me.
Okay.
Even though I'm not talking about record, I'm more talking about
everything. The whole package.
All of it. Yeah. Don't you say Penn State.
No, Longhorns.
We'll have violence
Longhorns are definitely in top 5. Some would say top 3. I'm sorry. But that just filled your top 5 right there. And then A&M's into the discussion.
No, A&M's not in the discussion. No, sir. They're out.
Okay.
They're not.
I didn't have them top 10 anyway. I had them top 20, but I not having them top 10.
I still think that Penn State job is a lot better than people realize.
Oh, yeah.
And I am
It's
amazed.
still open, by the way.
We talked about that before the show. It's not that they haven't filled it that surprises me. It's that nobody, what we just saw was insane. It's not so much that many jobs were open, it's that many got filled that fast.
Bam.
Like it wasn't pure panic, but hair was smoldering.
Yes.
And I cannot believe I have not heard anybody freaking out about the Penn State thing anywhere, which leads me to believe they have a plan. I just don't know what it is. We heard the whole DeBoer stuff, and I don't think that's true, but good God. But there's something going on there because there's no way a program that big that lets go of a coach who'd been there that long because they want to make that next step. We haven't heard anything.
Nothing.
Something's going on in
and
Happy
that
Valley.
makes me think there's got to be somebody in the NFL. There's got to be somebody.
It's got to
in
be
the
an
NFL
thing.
Yeah, it has to be the NFL that they're waiting on the season to be done so that they can tell him he's coming because they're not going to go with their defensive coordinator. I don't care how many players say, "Oh, we want our coach, we want our defensive coordinator." He's not the answer. They're not going to let James Franklin go for a defensive coordinator that was already there.
If you're Penn State and you're this close, and what you need is somebody to take you right over the edge,
NFL.
You don't go get a first-time head coach.
No,
you just don't.
You don't.
They're going to get somebody from the NFL.
Yeah. NFL.
Or somebody with some established bona fides in college football coach. And I don't know who that would be now because they've made a lot of people money. Matt Rule's made a lot of money and all like that. I don't. It's amazing that we don't hear anybody freaking out about it because we heard every SEC school was freaking out for the past couple of days and weeks and months. Hadn't heard it from Penn State.
I'm showing you, Paul. This is The Athletic, and they're ranking the top head coaching jobs. And Penn State's number 2, and Florida's number 3, and that's before LSU's obviously number 1 on there.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's not a general consensus of everybody.
Yeah,
right. But I'm telling you, Penn State's a top 10.
I think the reasoning behind you saying what Coach Saban did when he looked across the field, I think that's the difference between top 10. And not top 10 because of the athletes, because of it's just like what you talked about when you talked about Virginia Tech, that you said that James Franklin's not going to be able to do this or that because of their location.
Yes.
I think Penn State's location is a part of the problem, being also close to the Ohio State and the Michigan because they do garner the attention of the kids when they go in to recruit them.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's as big an issue as it was when Saban went to LSU because I do think kids, it's less regional than it was then. And even then it was starting to get more national, but not like now. So I don't know if Nick Saban 2025 Michigan State coming down would see it exactly the same because I think he would have been able to get some of those players now. But look,
with money, yes.
Look, dude, you telling me they haven't shown they're willing to spend money?
Yeah, with the money.
They gave Mel Tucker insane amounts of money to the fact that they've had to concoct a whole lot of stuff to try and get out of paying him all of that money. We'll get into that one day, too.
Yes, we will.
Court case will get into that. The thing you had mentioned, we were talking about all the coaches that was just disappointing, maybe too strong a word, but I think a lot of the reason we're talking so much about the coaches today, most of the games weren't that great. Rivalry weekend. There were a couple that were all right. The Iron Bowl was way too close. But a lot of those rivalry games weren't great. And I think
don't call LSU Oklahoma a rivalry.
I don't think it is. No, it's not.
It is close.
And it's going to be.
No, because they're not even playing next year.
Well, they'll be playing at some place.
But, you think about it. We didn't have the craziness we've had in the past. And the really tight finishes and the big, meaningful moment. Ohio State, Michigan looked a little squirrely early, but it wasn't like have you on the edge of your seat.
Okay, so here's the problem now.
Or am I wrong on
we
that?
have less.
I don't know.
We have less independent teams. Obviously,
True.
We've got like 3 left, like UMass and Notre Dame, and I don't even know if UConn or whoever's the third one. The Big 12 doesn't play rivalry games. They had one. It was Arizona State. The ACC the only rivalry games they had was playing against the SEC teams. Miami's not rivals with Pittsburgh,
That's right.
I mean, that's not a rivalry game. So these two conferences have abandoned rivalry games. So you only have the Big Ten and SEC really to talk about. Because Notre Dame's playing Stanford. Come on, man.
We've changed everything. And to your point, I get what you're saying. I don't want to call you wrong. I'm not saying like you're wrong. The thing that I'm talking about is that they were talking a lot about it before the games were being even played. Yeah. And at halftime of every game, they talked about, we still haven't heard from Coach Kiffin.
Oh, no, I know.
And so that was so much more.
I just think if we had better games and more chaos, I don't know that we'd be so focused on the coaching thing. Because, like I said, outside of the Iron Bowl, none of them really. I mean, who lost in the top 12? Texas A&M? That was it?
Yeah, A&M. And that was the night before.
And that's unusual for rivalry weekend. But Jeff makes a good point. A lot of those games aren't rival games anymore.
They're not really rival.
Oklahoma State's New Bedlam is against Iowa State? Really?
I mean,
it's different.
Give me a hold of the scheduling. Because Cincinnati would be playing West Virginia. They're both in the Big 12. It just makes sense. Kansas and Kansas State?
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
If they aren't playing each other, you have to have a Kansas team play Iowa State. And then the Texas teams? Come on. I mean, TCU, Baylor seems kind of logical.
Yeah.
Houston, maybe Texas Tech. I mean, these are logical ones. Utah didn't even play BYU this weekend. Come on.
Yeah. But every game that you named, except for the Utah BYU, none of those games have significance realistically nationwide for other fans to watch, because all we have been pushed to, all we've been controlled to, all that everybody's been doing now is pushing us towards this playoff. That's why the rivalries are going away. That's why the SEC, ACC, and all these champion games are getting told, oh, it doesn't matter. Because now everybody was asking, okay, so Alabama's playing Georgia again. If Alabama loses, that gives them 3 losses. Does that mean they're not going to the championship? Yeah. So everything is being pushed to nothing really matters anymore, except for, are you in the playoff?
Right.
Because that's all we care about.
So to me, there's 3 stories left in the college football season outside of, the normal one, who's going to win the national championship. One is the most current one. The G5 got absolutely decimated for coaches.
Yeah.
Is this just going to drop them that much further, and how does that play into the playoff going forward? So that's one. Number 2 is, if Alabama loses the SEC championship, does a 3-loss Alabama still get in, because they've protected the conference championship losers going forward? And the third one, and to me the most meaningful, because I cannot fathom that this was ever possible, if Duke wins the ACC championship, we, honest to God, could have a scenario where the ACC does not have a team in the playoff.
Yeah.
That's incredible to me.
Because I don't know if you know the rules behind it. Miami's not a shoe-in.
Right.
It's not an automatic bid.
I think Miami has no chance.
There are 5. It's the top 5 conference winners.
Correct.
Miami's not even in the shot for that.
No.
So, and they have to be ranked.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of looking at that Tulane North Texas game as winner is in.
And James Madison has a shot too, because they would be a different conference. That's what hurts the ACC.
But then if they do the whole Florida State Jordan Travis deal, now you've got James Madison's coach who's leaving to go to Cal.
However, he will be coaching. This was announced too. And he's going to UCLA, but he will be coaching through the playoff.
And so when you
Which I think they said Summerall was doing the same.
Summerall is coaching. Right. Yes, he is coaching. Yes. But if you look at the teams that are in the question, if you look at Virginia and the Dukes and all of those, do you think they've left out Alabama? They've left out this team. They've left out in times past when they went ahead and went against. They left out Florida State when they left them out. Do you think a Duke fan base, do you think they care about letting them out? Do you think about a Virginia team fan base? Do they think about caring about whether or not they leave them out? Because there's not going to be the uproar of a school like that being the ACC, because with Miami, Miami, if they were in that situation, that's why we're even talking about it, is because Miami is such a name and a brand in college football. These other teams don't even matter.
But that's not where the ramifications are going to hit. I don't think Duke would be screaming bloody murder if they didn't get in. Where it's going to have ramifications, they've tried to dissolve this conference before, recently. This would, in my mind, be the death knell of the ACC.
It would be.
Because the next time anybody can move, these guys are going to look to bail. Because if they have no guaranteed way into the playoff, they are running from this sinking ship as fast as possible. The ACC, for its own survival, has to get a team in.
If they don't, it's going to be chaos, but will it be worth the chaos is the question. So either way, we're up against the break. When we come back, PCB Hobby is in the building. We will see what is going on in the card and coin market. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Must. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Monday. A possibility of thunderstorms and light sprinkles tonight with a moderate breeze out of the southeast around 15 miles per hour and temps near 62. Tomorrow morning we will have very light rain and some clouds and be quite warm at 68. Partly cloudy in the afternoon and evening and a high 67. Some sun Wednesday with a temp of 59. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hiller's here, you don't need to worry. If you're stuck without any heat, we'll be there in a hurry. Hiller's here to help you right away. We'll be there to fix you up, call the Happy Face Truck today. Yes, Hiller's here, so never fear, call the Happy Face Truck today. Hiller!
Happy holidays from the Hiller family. Take advantage of our current specials and deals at happyhiller.com.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live and nationwide right here in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. Don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, you can be. 850-215-6290. It is open and available to talk whatever you would like. Yeah. We are excited to have the doctor and the captain in the building together with some Minute Maid lemonade.
That's what I'm
going
talking about.
on. No caffeine needed.
Happy Monday, everybody. You know what time it is.
That is right.
It's PCB Hobby time. Yeah, we're rocking it. We got so much to go over. A lot of great stuff. This last week was Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Oh, my Lord. It got wild. We actually streamed on Thursday, but on Friday we did a Hulk show. Incredible Hulk comic show, which was off the chain. Sold Hulk for like, I don't know, 14 hours straight.
Wow.
Anyways, and then on Friday, we decided to do a vintage / slab-tastic slabathon. Except we got crazy. We ended up selling an ASM 1. That's Amazing Spider-Man #1 from 1964. That is a big, big book. Went for $6,400.
Wow.
Then we turned around back to back and ran a Hulk 1 from 1962 that went for $6,100.
Wow.
It was nuts stuff. We ran #1s after #1s, keys. It was crazy. We got stupid. It was fun though. Anyways, we had a great time.
I was talking to Todd about how funny yet kind of sad. It's like we had this collection from number 400 all the way down to 1, and you blow through it in that day, and then it's over. And it took someone years to put this collection together.
That's true.
And just like that, it's pulled apart.
And she's not wrong. And she's not wrong because it was bought from one collector. It was bought from one collector, and he had been doing it for years and years and years, just putting it together on his own, and finally he might have been missing 2 issues, 3 issues, lower issues, which I happen to have. So we dumped those in there with it and ran the whole thing. But it's just crazy.
Such is collectibles.
Yeah, and so with that being said, the collector might, if this is true, I don't know, I'm asking in this question form, could somebody want 1 through 10 and that be their collection, not necessarily
Correct.
1 through 400?
Correct.
So really you could have made 10, 15, 20 full of what that person wanted.
And
Maybe
even better than that. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes. Sometimes people just collect the first 10 issues or 20 issues, especially the older series stuff. And then sometimes they collect the whole thing. Well, you got to understand, there's probably been over 1,000 Hulks put out. Or maybe even 1,500 or 2,000 with all the newer variants and all the new stuff. So 1 through 400 was just the base volume 1. Yeah. I mean, they're like 873 right now, and then you add in the reboots they've done of volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, and then the exclusives they've done. So the collection's massive. I mean, it'd be literally thousands of books for a true complete Hulk collection.
Yeah.
But 1 through 400 is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a feat in itself. I mean, that alone is a tough run to put together. So what's cool about it is that we helped people who wanted Incredible Hulk to fill their collection up. Mm-hmm. We had many buyers who were like, I need that issue, I need that issue, I need that issue, I need that issue. And so we were filling their run up with somebody who had done all the work for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's really neat.
And you said, you want it, but you got to pay for it.
You got to pay for it. And so,
right.
And
again, as is collectibles, right?
Sure.
It's like you
see it in sports cards all the time and in coins all the time. They may have the 5 biggest Ken Griffey Jr. cards, but they may not have that weird 2002 Stadium Club insert.
Right. Yeah.
That's not a super expensive card, but it's hard to find. And it's just, anytime you can connect somebody. To Sharon's point is right. It's a shame to think you're breaking that up, but when you think about you've connected someone to something maybe they've chased for 15, 20 years, that's pretty cool.
That's even better, right? But that's not really the big news. I just wanted to let everybody know that it went good because I know I mentioned it the last time I was here, so last Monday. What the big news is Wednesday morning, early, which I get up early, so I'm good. We are leaving out of Panama City Beach to go to Tokyo, Japan. Mm-hmm. And we're going to
18 hours later.
Yeah. In my best SpongeBob voice, 18 hours later.
It's a long way.
It's a long way. We are going to Japan. There is 8 of us going, not even including Frank Miller and his team.
Wow.
So we are going to have a huge presence in Chiba. That's the town the actual con is in. It's right outside of Tokyo. And we will be there till Monday. So super excited about that. So if anybody has any questions, thoughts, concerns, whatever, shoot them our way. Love to hear from you because it's going to be an epic trip.
Do you need to pay again, I want to ask you this because, the answer could have changed. Are you wanting to pay somebody to carry your bags for a free trip to Japan?
Like I said, if somebody would like to carry the bags, anybody but people's names, Paul.
Deal. Hey. I'm sure it would be.
The bosses are away, party at HQ.
Right. That's right.
And then there's that. Thank God I've instructed one person, and I will say at least he is an unknown individual who is going to be watching.
There you go.
So sorry, there's video cameras, Brian.
I was going to say the cameras
never stopped me before.
Yeah,
the cameras will be turned.
So anyways, but we're excited to do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. The shop's been rocking and rolling. Guys, we still have a lot of gifts and a lot of things that you can purchase for. for the impending Christmas. So come see us. Come to the shop. Again, it's 11939 Panama City Beach Parkway. That is next to Florida Linens. Our phone number is 850-320-8388. Give us a call if you have any questions, want to talk about what you're looking for, what we might have for gifts. We have a range of gifts, all the way down to 50-cent cards. We have 50-cent cards up to $1,000 cards. Brian is going to tell us. Also, he just bought a collection.
Yep.
We've actually gotten several collections in. And we have done tons of, rebagging and boarding of comics. If you want older comics, we got older comics. Our coin supply is off the chart.
Yeah.
TCG, same thing. We just got back from a huge show. They just got back last week from New Jersey. I was here talking about how they were going to New Jersey. They got back and everything went great with them.
And by the way, let me just throw this in. Our gal Brittany is now doing social media, and she's doing a great job. So everyone needs to check out Instagram and Facebook, because she's doing wrap-up videos and everything, and we'll send her stuff for Tokyo too. So
that'll be cool.
And you'll know. If you see Brittany, she either has green or purple hair.
I like Mardi Gras colors.
And so the reason why I point this out is we have another Brittany that's our coin processor. Who has been there longer.
Yeah.
So when we say Brittany, we always have to caveat it with green-haired Brittany.
Yeah.
So,
well, we want to see green-haired Brian even.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I'm just happy it's still hair, Brian.
Yeah, I don't want any mirrors broken, nothing like that. So no,
bad enough.
That.
So let me ask you this, Brian. A couple of weeks ago, you were able to buy a Bobby Bowden signed memorabilia.
So you
used to have stuff.
We have a few
available.
things, but I can tell you a lot of it's gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was great. People like, oh my God, this would be so good for Christmas. In fact, we sold a Bo Jackson autographed jersey, Auburn jersey, on Black Friday. And a Bobby Bowden with Jimbo Fisher dual autograph picture, which I thought was interesting. But there are still a few things that we have there. There's actually one really neat picture of them at midfield shaking hands. It's Urban Meyer and Bobby Bowden shaking hands, both autographed.
Wow.
So it's a neat looking picture. Depending on who you cheer for, you can burn one half of it or whatever.
Throw darts at it.
But but speaking of Black Friday, oh my gosh, it was insane. I mean, it was a lot of people. Wasn't, what we talked about at the beginning, people knock each other over. We had a lot of people in the shop, a lot of people taking advantage of great deals, a lot of people completing collections. And to Todd's point, that's the one worry I have in sports every year, is we know we're going to sell a lot of stuff because it's a time people are looking for gifts. It's, can we replenish what we've done? Fortunately, this year we had a couple of really big collections, and even more importantly, it covered the spectrum.
Right.
Basketball, baseball, football. We had Marvel. We have so much NASCAR high-end cards.
Yeah, good stuff.
I mean, really good-looking stuff. Wrestling, UFC. We got collections of everything. Today I picked up some really big cards on the higher end, some downtowns, Tom Brady rookies, different things like that. So we've been fortunate in that not only have we sold a lot of stuff, which is good, that's the idea of business, but we've also been able to replenish it. So we do still have not only good stuff, but a lot of newer stuff. So don't forget about that going forward over these next couple of weeks. We have a few items I haven't had in a year and a half that have kind of come through. So
yeah, we've been getting a ton of vintage in too.
That's right.
So we have a ton of vintage cards. So if you collect the older stuff, along with that, we have a ton of vintage comic books. And again, a lot of people don't like the word vintage when you talk about comic books. They want to know if it's Bronze Age, Silver Age, Golden Age, stuff like that. But I can assure you, it's a lot of Bronze and Silver Age stuff, and a lot of good titles, good names. Spider-Man's and Thor and Iron Man and X-Men and Fantastic Four and of the like. So I want to put that out there because our shop really hadn't been known for having older comics, but it is now. So we are starting to really stock up on older comics. We now have a warehouse full of them, and so we're starting to process them and get them to Rick, who is our comic book expert at the shop, and he's starting to put them on the wall, price them out, and get them out there. So it's very important. We're going to refresh all of our slabs.
Right, and so that's a good point. So if anyone has come in for comics, we've only been doing it for 2 years now, so give us another shot if you're looking for the older
there's
stuff.
so much cool stuff in there now. And, one of the things we've talked about over the last month has been Top's been a little bit delayed on some baseball things because they were making such a push coming back into basketball and everything like that. Well, just in time for the holidays, this run over the next couple of weeks of products, and not just Tops, but mainly Top stuff, is unbelievable. So this week, in fact, it came in today. I can't sell it till Wednesday, but Allen and Ginter baseball, which is it's one of the most fun sets there because they go everywhere, and I mean everywhere. But it's a lot of fun. It's old style look, but they're really one of the collector's favorite. That drops on Wednesday. Panini Prism Collegiate Draft Football. Talk about getting cards of Jeremiah Smith, Julian saying guys in college, Arch Manning. That's coming out this week as well. Next week, we go heavy baseball. Chrome Update Series. This is where the debut patches are.
Okay. Yeah,
that's next week. And then at the end of that week, you're going to have Topps Cosmic Chrome, which is one of their best releases every year. And just not to be outdone, you think it's all baseball, baseball, baseball. The third week of December, guess what we get? Topps Chrome Basketball.
Wow, that's going
to be the biggest release of the year.
The biggest release of the year. And it's going to be monster. And the reason it's going to be monster is not just the names in it. It's because Topps is finally back with basketball. And that's it. And Topps Chrome Basketball. Look, if you pulled the Kobe Bryant, we'll say 96 Kobe Bryant Topps Chrome basketball card, and you had it graded and got a 10, that thing is a monster now. I'm $8,000. I mean, easy. It's just so off the chart. The point is, they haven't done basketball for so long that this is the one that you're going to want to buy a box and put it away.
And to be honest, you've still got. I didn't even mention Heritage High Number comes out, always fan favorite. Archives baseball comes out. They put them on the old style there. Formula One Chrome comes out. I mean, they have so many releases in the next 3 weeks. I'm going to have to call my credit card company.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is I know you said you can't sell it till Wednesday, but I mean,
Not even to you, Paul.
That's where I was going. How does everybody always
shut you down?
It seems like every question that I have is always no.
Well, Paul, I would say you could meet at 12:01, but I'm old and I'm not up there.
It's like you'll be there by yourself.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And we did
knocking on the door and you're looking and like, why is he there?
We also did come up with some really cool stuff. So Sharon's been working on a project where we're giving back a little bit to some of our customers who have been customers for a while this year and have really been there for us, especially on the streaming and stuff like that. So we've been doing some stuff working on that. So Sharon's been doing a lot of that. And then we upped our game with taking care of the employees this year, making sure that they have snacks, drinks, everything that you would want, you would imagine would be like so fun to go to work and be like, oh yeah, I can get a snack anytime I want. Right. They have so many different drinks and energy drinks and this and that and stuff. So Sharon's come up with plans and done a ton of stuff this year for that. So we were very thankful over this Thanksgiving for all the changes we've made and some of the things that we've done to bring this to life.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's been really good. So she's been heading that up. So it's been great. But
so do you feel like, in this vein of questioning what I'm asking you, do you feel like that when you do those things, especially this time of year where it is about being thankful with Thanksgiving just passed and now we're into a season of Christmas gift giving and being a part of the community and being that type of store, do you feel like that's important to build your base, but also to give back for 100%. The community?
So here's the deal. We did very little this year in donations and things like that, and in things that like this year specifically there wasn't any drastic issue or problem out there that the community had. So therefore we had to step in and raise $20,000 or whatever type thing. However, I think this year we used as the model to and I always believe this way, is to take care of your closest first, right? And then once that's solidified and running well, then you span out to farther in the community. Yeah. I always, I have a little anecdote. I always went to church, and when I'd go to church, they would always talk about these missionaries going over here and doing this, and we'd raise money for Honduras, or we'd do this or what of that, and then you'd roll down the street toward, in Atlanta, and you'd see homeless people everywhere. And I often wondered, I don't understand, why are we not taking care of that first before we're sending money to Honduras? It didn't make sense to me. as a business person, it didn't make sense to me. So.
Well, and let's face it, when you have 40 plus employees, it's like we have our little village to take care of.
Yeah. So Sharon came to me and said, Todd, we got to do some stuff here for the company first. Yeah. So if you ever thought of working for PCB Hobby, there's reasons why we keep our employees, because we have 40 plus employees and we've kept almost every single one of them. And it's because we give free health care. It's because we have snacks. It's because we listen to them. We have a chief of staff who takes care of things and listens to our employees, and we take care of their needs and work with them to help them be the best they can be. In turn, they work very hard. They do a lot for us. And again, we're very thankful for that. And so next year in 2026, you will see more outreach to the community from PCB Hobby, because we have our stuff in one sock.
Well, it was almost like a building year, right? For like a football team. So we kind of look at 25 as being a building year that we have.
Yeah, so we took care of a lot of stuff and we're doing good with it.
Let me interject. I was not being rude there. That was actually a listener who was texting me trying to find out how much the basketball was going to cost. So I was actually doing business.
Very good, Brian.
Way too much. Let me just answer it for him. Way too much. Paul's going to buy them all, and you guys can just wait for another time.
Very convenient, Brian. Not paying attention.
Well, I don't have any friends, so it must be
true. Must be true.
But also, when you think of all of this that you do out and you do it in, that's exactly what it is all about. It is about taking care of those closest, so that whenever you get them being able to function and do the right things, then they can reach more, because you can't reach everybody, but those 40 can. That's really
right.
Key.
Exactly. And look, if we find out that one of our employees is struggling, we always jump in and help. But on the flip side, if we also find out that they're out there helping the community, we think about that too and say, oh, okay, let's help support that. The local Arnold basketball, I think we did a small sponsorship with them actually, I think last week. And we don't do a lot of that, but it was nice that Emma specifically said we need to do this for this specific thing, because we have a lot of patrons coming in and stuff like that. The best news is when you put back into yourself in the community, the radio people love to let you talk longer than their allotted time. I'm not saying I see anything in my peripheral, but
let me just say one thing. So we have two couples that
talk as long as you want, babe.
He's already took it.
that have gotten engaged.
Oh, wow.
So, part of being like, we were talking about the PCB family, we actually have two couples that work there that
I didn't
are
even
engaged.
know that.
Yeah. So
There you
we're
go.
pretty excited about that.
Todd's probably going to do the wedding. I wouldn't surprise me.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't want me doing the wedding.
Well, I wasn't one of them, was I?
Yeah. Remember
you
that
were.
Remember that other night, Brian? You told me
that's
about
the problem. I don't remember it.
I'm teasing.
This show is going off the rails. With that being said, we are up against the break. We want to thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
And make sure you go out and visit them. They're online, Facebook page, all of the other social media outlets, as well as being right there by Florida Linens, who's going to be a sponsor eventually because you said so. So either way, when we come back, we are going to discuss a little bit about the rivalry week. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone Service.
The Red 70s studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
And see, my thing with Lane is I ain't forgot what he did when he was at Tennessee. He snitched on us. I ain't forgot that. But he's a great football coach, and he's definitely be a good fit for Florida. What happens when he gets there? He wins 10, 11 games, and we're over 3 or 4 years. And then DeBoer gets fired, and now Alabama's open. We're Ole Miss.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Northwest Florida is asking men to step up. So many boys are in need of a positive role model. If you can spend a little time each month doing something simple like tossing a football or grabbing lunch, you can change a life. Call 850-433-KIDS or visit BeTheBig.org to become a Big Brother today.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
You're home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, live from Atlanta, it's the SEC Championship with the Georgia Bulldogs.
75 yards.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Alabama survive.
Coverage starts at 2, kickoff at 2:30 on your spot for the SEC Championship on the Gulf Coast, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. ESPN Northwest Florida. He once ate an entire birthday cake before he realized there was a stripper inside. LSU Jeff.
It's Officer Nasty.
Is part of the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad that you joined us today. Whether you're on the radio or you're listening on Facebook or YouTube or ESPN Northwest Florida app, we appreciate it. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a comment. Anything that you've said can be and will be shared as long as it runs through Jeff's approval. That's how we're going to
and the FCC's.
That's right. So we've had a little bit of a Facebook poll again, and looking at these jobs, the poll says who won this weekend's coaching hires, and you got LSU with Kiffin, Florida with Summerall, Auburn with Golish, Ole Miss with Golden, and the last one, Arkansas with Silverfield. We didn't get your guys' opportunity to say, who do you think knocked it out of the park? Brian, we'll go first.
I have a write-in.
I know you do. Go ahead. Give it to the fans. Let them hear it.
Michigan State knocked it out of the park. I am a huge Pat Fitzgerald fan. I think he's going to be perfect for them. I think he got done so wrong at Northwestern. That guy won at Northwestern, for God's sake. I think he's a great coach. He's a great person. He finally got through with that lawsuit thing. That is a program that needs someone and come and build brick by brick. I think they nailed it with this.
Do you think he's going to be like a Bill O'Brien was, like a bridge to get Penn State like they were? Or do you think he's going to build brick by brick and you're going to see them competing?
I could see him, look, the place that he went coming back, I could see him being a lifer there. I mean, I think he wanted to be a lifer at Northwestern.
Of course, yeah.
But no, I think they absolutely crushed it. And look, the Big Ten, Ohio State is great. Then you've got kind of that next tier of Oregon, Penn State, and Michigan kind of jostling, and Indiana now kind of jostling for that next spot. I'm not so sure I can
not
say.
yet. Not yet.
I think USC's another tier down.
Wow.
But I think that the right coach, we saw it, Tucker had one year where he got Michigan State in there. Michigan State, by the way, has been in the college football playoff.
Yep.
Alabama blanked the heck out of them, but they were in there.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think it's that out of bounds to think Michigan State could creep into that second tier. They're not going to get to the Ohio State or even Michigan National Championship tier, but I think they could get in there and maybe have an outside shot of being the third or fourth entrant from the Big Ten to get in there. So I'm going to write in Pat Fitzgerald, Michigan State.
Well, when you look at it, I want to read some of the people's responses on the Facebook page. Obviously, some people put in like pictures, and so there's a picture of Albie and the Auburn Tiger, so he's in there. So people think that anyone who believes, listen to this from Jimmy Hamback. He says anyone who believes LSU won, that idiot Kiffin would leave his expecting wife for an Arby's sandwich. So there you go. That's one of them.
I did see the joke going for all the LSU fans jumping up and down. Wait 2 years for when he spurns you and goes to Bama.
Somebody said they'll miss Golich. Toss up between Florida and Auburn. Both are good choices. LSU, then Auburn. Golden is a pitiful choice, by the way. And the viewing, as far as where we are right now, obviously the poll will continue to get more steam like the other polls did. But right now, LSU with Kiffin is in the lead, with Florida coming in second. Auburn's third. Ole Miss is fourth with Golden. And then, surprisingly, no one in our listening area has thought that Silverfield going to Arkansas was a good hire. So there you go. Any Arkansas fans out there, why don't you go on the Facebook post and let us hear you on that. All right, Jeffrey, out of all of those people, what say you, my friend? Who is the best coaching hire of the weekend?
Goalish. Yeah. That was the shocker, really. Mm-hmm. But
because on Wednesday, we had heard that he was leaning to Arkansas. And that was going to be they were in talks.
Yeah, and I didn't think that was going to be a good move.
For him?
Yeah, it wasn't a good move for him. I felt like he had a higher ceiling than what some people realize. So I think Auburn scooping him up was probably number one. I'm going to put Pat Fitzgerald number 4.
Okay.
And Lane Kiffin number 3.
Okay. So
Jim Mora, you think Colorado State was a swipe?
Yeah.
It was a steal.
That was a good pickup.
It was a steal.
Meaning you're going to see Colorado State compete in the college football playoff?
Yeah. Yeah, just like a Boise State could compete from out west.
Okay. All right. So
that's what Boise State made it last year.
Yeah.
What makes you think that the American Conference will not have anybody in the running next year?
Because all their coaches just got taken.
Yes. And they're going to be horrible, and their strength of schedule is going to be trounced on. I think the Sun Belt will be just as good as the American next year.
Yeah, because of the coaches, right? Because their coaches'
stability and everything. Now, James Madison's losing their coach.
They're losing now.
But other than that, the only thing that's happening in the Sun Belt is Texas State is leaving and Louisiana Tech's coming in.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Being the LSU fan that you are, for the Kiffin hire, is it because of the Kiffin fatigue that has got you, or do you really don't think that he's on the level of a Kirby, on the level of a Saban? Because you didn't name him number 1.
Well,
you actually took Goalish being a USF that's overachieved there.
Yes.
And then you took a older coach that's failed at different places with Mora at Colorado State.
Yeah.
And then that's where you put Kiffin at third behind him.
Yeah.
So is it the Kiffin fatigue that's kind of clouding you, or what's the deal?
I'm going to put him above James Franklin because everybody said James Franklin couldn't win the big one.
Yeah.
Are you really thinking that maybe Kiffin could be a third best coach in the SEC at LSU with all these recruits? It's a predictability, the play calling. There's more to it than just recruiting, getting good talent, and putting it all together and having assistants underneath you. it's play calling and not getting predictable. Because once somebody gets figured out, guess what happens? The game goes down, and you lose in the second half, especially.
And when you look at his coaching in times past, I mean, that's really all you've got to go by. So you look at what he did at Florida Atlantic.
Yes.
You look at what he did at Tennessee. Look at what he did at USC.
Yeah.
And you've looked at what he's done at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you look at it in that regard, it really was over the top for how the fans and how the alumni and how the athletic directors and how the media has responded to him taking definitely a step up going to LSU, but you're not convinced as far as a X's and O. You believe he's going to get the recruits. You believe he's a good play caller. You believe he can coach, but you're still, you're like, show me the money.
Show me the big game wins.
That's it. I was going to say, I can almost see it in your face right now with what it is. I think he's the exact fit for what they felt like they were lacking this year. So as terms of that last kind of puzzle piece, he seems like it's perfect. It's that. Show me the big game. Show me the big win. Show me next year beating Alabama.
Beat Georgia. 2 years from now.
Those kind of get, that's it. And that's why it's cautious. That interesting thing with all the G5 guys is that hasn't gone all that well.
No, not at all.
And I mean, you look at Norvell, one great year, the rest have not been good. You look at Napier, similar kind of thing. One good half a year, really last year, and all like that. So there's a lot. I think all of them are capable, and I think all of them could be good. I'm not as high on the Arkansas. I think Memphis was a little happy he may have gone. But the one that's the most intriguing is Auburn, because I don't know if I like the dynamic. If Durkin stays, which all indications are he will, in fact, I think Auburn was somewhat insistent on it. I've never liked the dynamic of when a guy wants the head job, doesn't get it, but yet is still on staff, there's always friction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
But that's the one I'm going to be watching probably the closest, because that's a very, very interesting dynamic.
Well, go ahead. If Durkin knew his role before when he was coordinator, what makes you think he can get snapped right back into that? It takes a special person to do that.
I think when you wanted the job, you get passed over, and then things start going a little bit awry.
Animosity.
You can get undercut from inside. Look, we saw it with Gus a couple years ago when remember the fan base tried to, who was the DC then? Steele. They tried to run Gus out for Kevin Steele, and that caused all kind of problems.
And that's another one of those jobs that you have to win. They'll give you some leeway, but Auburn wants you to win. And everybody as a group, as what I'm seeing online with the writers, everybody's talking about this is a home run. Golish is the guy. This is great. This is going to be.
Yeah.
But it is also another one of those show me the money type deals, because they are going to have to. And the cool thing is that on Wednesday we have Brad Law coming on, and we're going to be able to ask him a lot of those questions.
Oh, cool.
And we have LSU's guy coming too.
Ironically, I don't think the leash going to be all that long for Golish like it was for Freeze, because they feel like they're not that far away.
Yeah, they believe they've got the talent, and I will be honest with you. I believe they've got the talent. Auburn's always been able to get great talent. They've always had good players. They've always been good at these positions that you need to be good at, and the athletes have been a plethora at Auburn. It's just whether or not this guy can go to a major college and be able to do what he's done, or is he like most of these guys that can coach up the 2-star, the 1-star, the 3 stars, and compete with some of these 5 stars, because it takes a very special coach to be able to coach 5 stars and take them to. That's why we don't have a lot of them, is because it's a hard thing to do. And that's really what I'm curious to see with Lane Kiffin, because Lane Kiffin's kind of been that guy that's kind of had some 3 stars, 4 stars, and kind of coached them up to be 5 stars. But what happens now if LSU is leading in 5 stars? Can he coach those guys? Either way, we've talked a lot about coaching just about the whole show. So either way, thank you so much for listening. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. We will be excited tomorrow to talk about all the things football. Have a good day.
game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because